How am I doing in Arena tonight? Not great so far. I think I'm 1-1 this time. This game could go either way. This deck is okay. I pulled together another. I pulled together a druid deck. It's not too bad, but I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't bet money on this one. Let's just say. It looks like there was another donation. Did you guys see anything? I tried to modify the text or modify the thing. I'm not really sure what the problem is. This one is from Retina Burn, who asks, "What do I use for donation queues?" That's a very good question. I'm using the Night Dev donation thing. Does that make sense? And I have it set up so, I went through the tutorial and looked at everything, and it really should be working. I'm not sure what the actual problem is. Man, Light's Justice. That is really annoying. But this guy is huge compared to what he's got out, so maybe that'll be okay. Started my streaming career with such a streak. That's true. I did. Oh yeah, I'm 1-0. I haven't lost this thing. Just feels like I'm not going to do very well. But yeah, the first time I streamed, I was just like, oh, I'll play an arena match and see how it goes. And I ended up going 11-0, and then losing 3 in a row. Wow. If I was a scumbag, what I would do is just keep telling people that I think I fixed the donation thing, but we won't find out until until someone tries. But I'm not that big a scumbag. But what a good idea. Let's see. I'm in a lot of trouble here. I really need to draw. I mean, and I could draw. I have a few big monsters, so I could draw something to get me out of this. But I've played my 2 Starfires. I've played a lot of my good cards, so I'm worried that I'm winding down and not really finding anything that's gonna get me out of this. Ugly. Well, that'll help, but not right away. Maybe I can pull out of this. We'll have to see. Have to see how it goes. I mean, one of the things too to keep in mind about trading card games, and you look at Magic as a good example. Like a game where there's been tons and tons of time. It's celebrating just celebrated its 20th year as a game, which is just incredible when you think about it. But even for the top players in Magic, they're only winning, getting close to 60% of the time. And that's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. And I think I've lost here. Let's see. 3. Yeah, I think I've lost no matter what I do. But let me make best effort to not be dead. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can knock him down to 5. Yeah, it's ugly, but it's the only thing I can do to stay alive. And I really don't know how I'm going to not die this turn. But if he doesn't kill me, if I can draw, well, probably kills me. Oh, yeah. Terrible card. Just a terrible card. So that's a bummer. Yeah, let me find the donation alert thing while I have a second here. Can link it over to you if you have any thoughts. It looks really cool, and it's working. Like the tracker thing is working, but the notification thing isn't. Come on. Sorry, using my MacBook as a Windows computer is tougher because the muscle memory is different for things like copy paste. But yeah, this is what I'm using for the donation alert, and not exactly sure why it's not working. But what do you guys think too? I keep playing Hearthstone. I also have Banished set up, and I've been really enjoying that. So I could play some Banished too if you'd rather me switch to that. But yeah, here's my deck. Not too bad, but you know, not mind blowing either. And let me fiddle around with this donation alert thing a little bit more. Let's see what happens. How much burled wood could a woodchuck chuck? Oh, and another thing too, for Juju Flop and for Retina Burn is that below it says if you donate $10 or more and buy me a drink, I'm happy to tell one of the stories that I have down there. So let me know if you would like me to do that. I'm also happy to just chat about whatever, which is, you know, mostly what I do. So let's see if that made any difference. I seem to have turned it invisible. That's useless. What's my favorite Steven Seagal movie? That's easy. That's Under Siege. Under Siege is just awesome. But the first movie, definitely the first movie, yeah, Devil May Strike. The Carry On My Wayward Son is the donation notification sound. Okay, well, I just did another test where it worked fine, but it probably doesn't, you know, I don't think I did anything any differently than before, so I don't know that, I don't know that it's actually going to work. You know, and it's above donator list and the thingamajig, so I don't know. Yeah, Devil May Strike, that the sound is working, but there's also supposed to be a pop-up just sort of right here on the screen when right here when there's a donation that comes through. Yeah, Juju Flop wants to hear the story of why I love Lando Calrissian. And so Lando Calrissian has become my favorite Star Wars character, I think, as I've been growing up. And let me switch this over to, yeah, just me talking. Oh, my hair is all nice and messed up. But Lando Calrissian is my favorite Star Wars character because he actually does like the most awesome stuff of anyone. I mean, you know, he used to be a professional gambler and smuggler who was awesome, you know, and then he became this respectable businessman running, you know, frickin' Bespin all by himself, and he gets to hang out with Lobot, which is great. But, you know, he's just like running this really successful business, and then Darth Vader shows up and is like, yeah, you know, sorry, I'm definitely just going to screw you because that's what I do. And Lando finds a way to save everybody and keep Darth Vader from getting what he wants. You know, like, he saves Han. You know, Han gets put into carbonite, and, you know, you think, like, oh, crap, he, you know, like, he betrayed him, and now he's in carbonite. But then he goes and spends, like, years undercover, it seems like, you know, infiltrating Jabba's palace to break him out. So, you know, he gets Han out. You know, Luke, instead of being captured by Darth Vader and, you know, converted to the dark side, just gets his hand chopped off, and then Lando, you know, helps them steal the Millennium Falcon so Leia and Chewie and everyone can get out, and then goes and saves Luke. And then even more important than this, after he saves Han, he destroys the Death Star. Like, you know, so imagine if Luke hadn't killed the Emperor, or if Darth hadn't killed the Emperor and Luke hadn't redeemed Darth Vader, then Lando still would have destroyed the Death Star, would have killed the Emperor and Darth Vader by himself, and ended the Empire. Like, that's just badass. Like, that dude by himself did so many of the things in Star Wars that were important, but just the way that he's written and shown as a character, you don't notice it nearly well enough. And so, you know, when I was a kid, I loved Luke Skywalker. Obviously, everyone loves Luke. And then when I got older, I loved Han Solo. And I think now that, I've started doing business and, being professional, like, I've started to appreciate Lando and, how he, like, manages all these, like, really complicated situations. And gets everyone what they want with minimal loss. Like, his dude, Bespin is fine. Like, the Cloud City is fine. Nothing happens to those thousands of people. Luke is down a hand, but that's pretty good considering. Han Solo had to basically take a forced vacation and lost his eyesight for a little while. But that's it. Like, on the balance, like, that's a pretty amazing character. And then plus, as you guys are mentioning, Billy D. Williams is pretty badass, and Cole 45, pretty solid. So I got a lot of respect for Lando. And it's something that, really just started to occur to me fairly recently. So I really love him. So that's the story of why I love Lando Calrissian. So cheers, man. All right, so I didn't hear a lot of excitement for Banished, so I'm gonna hop back into Hearthstone. Let's see. Cody says, "Let's play a game." You mean in Hearthstone? You want to play right now? I will definitely play. You ready to go, buddy? Yeah, and so last night someone asked me to tell that story too. I think I did a better job today, but it actually launched a very long conversation about Star Wars that was really fun. I don't know if you folks were there, but just a lot of talk about like how we feel about Disney taking it over, which I would love to hear what you guys think about Disney Disney taking it over. So Cody, I think you have to go out to the main menu so that I can challenge you. But I'm ready to go. Just need this little sword thing to light up so that I can get you. Yeah, Rosie, I really like Banished. I've been playing, I mean, I wouldn't say a lot, I just don't have a lot of time to play games. But I've been playing a fair amount, and I finally, I think, with my last city, got to the point where they're not going to just die all of a sudden. So that's pretty exciting. Oh, where did you go? Uh, but yeah, my city is like finally growing and actually starting to resemble, a decent city, that kind of thing. I'm starting to expand. I think I got a couple hundred people now. Oh, why isn't it letting me fight you? I've had this problem a couple times recently. It's kind of annoying. If you're able to challenge me, go ahead. If you can hit it, let's see. Well, let me go here and see if that makes a difference, but I think, yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. Let me try restarting real quick also. And sorry guys, sorry for the technical difficulties. But yeah, you may have seen my friend ID up there. If you guys would like to fight me, feel free to add me. It's greenface #1929. I should stream some EQ1 sometime. Yeah, I really should. Actually, Geek Domo has been streaming it lately, and it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome to just see it again. Oops. There we go. I guess it was on my side. Sorry about that. There we go. Good night, Madman Moose. Thanks for stopping by. Good to have you. So, I have a few random decks. The only one that I'm like pretty proud of is my Warlock deck. so I'll play this. It's a mid-range warlock deck. But yeah, I definitely should play some EQ. We have, well, look who just showed up. The dregs of humanity. Locke 6-time is here. Locke is one of the guys on Into the Portal who I really enjoy teasing for some reason. And is a really cool dude. He and Tobrin Ernwood do a classic EverQuest video series that is just one of the worst things I've ever seen. But you should definitely check it out. Let's see. Green face from drinking too much? No, actually. And I should put this on the list of stories I will tell. Green face is what we were calling this weird Japanese character that we found when I was working for another company, and we were doing like cartoons and cartoon development, and it's just this like very strange looking Japanese character, and we didn't know the name of it or anything, so we just called it green face because it was a green face. But yeah. So I am now playing a viewer. Hopefully he is not watching my hand. But it's pretty fun, and you know, like I said, I'm happy to play other folks, and here's my ID if you would like to add me. When I'm not streaming, please don't think I'm rude if I turn you down on games, because I very often am either just have Hearthstone open and I'm not playing, or I'm just hopping in, you know, to kind of take a 10-minute break or something like that. But yeah, I really don't do a lot of like marathon gaming sessions. So yeah, I appreciate that, Cody. He says, not watching your hand. It's something that I've always been curious about too, because like I watch a lot of my friends stream Magic, or just, you know, people stream different competitive games, like especially trading card games, and I wonder how is it that like are people, because they play their fans all the time, and I don't understand how it is that people aren't cheating, essentially. Like, you know, I mean, I guess it's just the honor system, but is there any other way like around that? Because it's just mind-blowing to me, like, you know, that you can, like, if Cody wants to, he can just watch my hand and see what I'm doing and what my strategy is, but what? Oh, it's fine. But you know, it's just weird to me. Oops, I have too many cards in my hand. That's unfortunate. I'll have to take care of that next turn. Oh, I can force. Oh no! I just lost my Ragnaros on. Oh, that's a bummer. Okay, hang on. Let me figure out how to. I wish I had a Hellfire. Figure out how to get some cards out of my hand here. Cody says, my strategy was to sandbag you and burn your cards. Yeah, well, a great thing about this deck is that I actually end up like decking myself about half of the time. You know, I call it a mid-range warlock deck, and the goal of the deck is really to stall and just generate value in such a way that my opponent can't win over time. Because I've generated so much efficiency. Efficiency to me is really the name of the game in Hearthstone. That's really, I think, all I look for, and it makes a big difference. Cheers, Juju Flop. Have a great night. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Let's see. Catch up on chat while somebody freezes all my stuff. Always the best. All right. So this is gonna be nice. So I actually had just swapped this Drain Life in. I had the Shadow Bolts before, but just trying to get a little bit more life gain in here because it's so difficult to keep up with the really, really aggressive decks. Let's see. Can block part of my screen. Yeah, I guess I could do that. That wouldn't be too hard to just block off here. But also, I mean, I want to talk about the game as I go and, you know, talk about what my opponent is doing and what I'm doing and all of that stuff. And it just feels like, you know, I can't when my opponent is watching. I mean, I still do, but it feels like you shouldn't, right? What sucks here is I'm definitely walking into a Flame Strike. So maybe what I should do is just also slow roll and so Cody says he's not looking but he is listening. Good to know. But yeah, and Cody, don't worry about it. I don't care. I mean, we're just playing for fun. It's just really interesting to me because I've never had this problem before, so it's just strange to me. Let's see. Zorboros says, random question from a current game design student. What's the best way for me to get into the industry as a 3D modeler slash environment designer? That's a great question. Let me catch up with the chat and make sure I'm answering everything, and then I will answer that. Let's see. Do I actually try to catch Elo or Crip and follow the crazy math they bust out for Hearthstone? I actually haven't been playing Hearthstone seriously enough to hear any of that. I would actually be really curious to hear it now that you mention it. But yeah, I haven't seen any of that stuff. I do know... Oh, come on, again? My hand is too full? But I do know from playing Magic that there's so much opportunity for that kind of thing. And I'm very, very used to that kind of like planning that you have to do for these games. Let's see. Oh, that was stupid. Well, I should probably be paying more attention, but that's okay. There we go. Yeah, so best way to get into the industry as a 3D modeler. To be honest, Cody says, you got me into the game after I watched your first stream. Well, that's cool. I really like Hearthstone. I think it's a pretty fun game, so I'm glad that you're playing. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to talk strategy and stuff like that. But that was a sneaky secret. But yeah, for how to get into the game industry, and clearly he's got some pyroblasts and feels like he's just gonna go to the dome, so we'll have to start racing too. Let's see what's gonna happen here. What I'm really worried about is that that's a copy. So let's see. Yep, it is a copy. So that means I will play him. Oh, it wasn't a copy. What is it? Oh, it's the when you die, you're gonna stay alive guy. That's fine, I can deal with that. Let's see. So best way to get in. Honestly, I think that one of the best ways to get into the game industry as a 3D modeler and environment designer is going to be Player Studio. You know, I hate that it sounds like I'm shilling, but Player Studio is just like one of the things when you used to try to get into the game industry, you know, like if you were a level designer, they would tell you to build levels like in Neverwinter Nights or something like that, you know, or use the StarCraft map editor. And yeah, Cody says it's ice block. Yeah, that's the problem with secrets in this game is that, you know, if you sort of take two actions and nothing happens, you know what the secret is. But that's okay, it doesn't matter. Like, it's still going to do what he wants even though. But Player Studio, oof, that's a lot. So I just have to not die this turn, and I think I can swing this. Um, it's gonna be a little bit creative, but I think I can swing it. But the main thing is I wanted to make sure I got him to 1 before I did that. And so I will go ahead and eat that. So if he has another Pyroblast, it's not going to kill me this turn. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, so you used to have to build like maps or that sort of thing, or sort of on spec create just whatever you could, your sample art, your portfolio. Oh man, are you gonna get me? Well played. Oh yeah, well played. Very nice. That's a lot of burn. But yeah, like now you actually have a way to play the game where or to make things that that you couldn't do before and actually have it resonate in in the real world, right? It's not just that you're building something. You're not just building sample stuff for no reason, right? Like you can build models and characters and things like that and then sell them on our store and make a little bit of money. But more important than that to me is that you can then put on your resume like, look, I had the top selling item in PlanetSide 2 for 6 months. Here it is. Because like it's all subjective, right? Even if you are an incredibly talented artist, it's really easy for people to look at it and say, well, I don't care, or it's not that good, that sort of thing. And did you want to play again, Cody? I'm sorry, I just exited out of there. But I would play again if you like. And it's really easy to be subjective, but when you have that concrete example, or that KPI, as we were talking about earlier, of, yeah, I actually made 10 grand off of this thing that I made. Number one, you made that money, and number two, that's actual proof, right? So if you're going for an entry-level art job, and you're up against a guy who has sort of equivalent education, equivalent portfolio, but your thing has made $10,000 and his thing just looks cool, it's a lot more reasonable to say, okay, well, maybe I should hire this guy who has actually like proven that his stuff can make money. And EverQuest Next and Landmark are just going to be like full of like opportunities for Player Studio stuff. So I think that that's actually one of your best bets for getting into the industry. Let's see. Oh no, Wick, I'm familiar with those guys. I just haven't watched them enough to really see them get into deep analysis. And what a terrible hand this is. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, anything you guys want to send, like I have the bot set up to ban links just because and Cody said, you guys can't see it, so I'm just going to repeat things that Cody says in the Hearthstone chat. So excited about the things that we're talking about now. But this idea that what was I saying? Too many things going on at once. Oh yeah, the bot just bans things because I can't always expect Zaitsev to be here, which I really appreciate him moderating for us. But I just want to make sure that there's not like random porn spam or stuff like that. So I just have that up. But yeah, anything you guys send, if you have any questions or anything that I should check out, just send me a message or follow me on Twitter and tweet me there, and I will definitely check it out because I love stuff like that. Oh, and now this game is going to get very bad, sad and bad. So I'm going to play this, it's not even a good play. I'm going to play this Loot Hoarder because I don't have anything else to do. Let's see. try to catch up on the chat as well. Yeah, I guess you could put in a delay if you're really worried about it. And you know, I'm not super worried about it yet. Like, just playing people for fun. So, oh, that was nice. So that was a very good play, but it's gonna end up backfiring on him because I just drew that Hellfire. So Hellfire is probably one of my favorite cards. It's a little bit hard to play, and you know, he's got a burn deck, so it may not be the best thing in the world that I just did that, but you know, I didn't have any other option. My hand isn't very good at this point. Zeter-san says, try to get on an indie games team for the contacts. And I think even more important than the contacts, just for the fact you'll get to finish it, like you'll get to do a project, right? And one of the things, like, you know, I think how I get into the game industry is one of the most common questions that we hear, because everyone wants to be in the game industry, and I mean, I'll tell you, it's awesome. You know, this is my 16th year in the game industry, and I've gotten to do all kinds of cool stuff. But it's very competitive, and you know, so a lot of people ask, like, a lot of people want to do it, and it's not impossible to do at all. It is just very competitive, so you have to be, you know, you have to be ready for that and ready to deal with like the rejection and frustration of doing it. Like, one of the stories that I tell, which is in the little list of things you can buy a drink for, is the story of how I got into the game industry, which I always say I wouldn't be in the game industry if I hadn't stepped in a bowl of ramen noodles. But, you know, there's a lot of getting to know people, like, and really what I've noticed is it's a lot about like following things that are interesting to you, and that sort of defines your path to, you know, where you end up. Like, you know, that's certainly what I did, and it worked out pretty well for me. See, I'm wondering whether I should be drawing cards or not, because I'm just a little nervous about, you know, his ability to blow things up. You know, I also have that sneaky card in my hand, so that could work out well. It's really about timing. But yeah, like, getting on an indie games team is really good. And I think one of the main reasons too, kind of like the player studio thing I was saying, is that by finishing an indie game, you have a finished product. You can actually put on your resume a shipped title. And that's something that's really hard for a lot of people. Now, I'm going to play this and hope to God that's not the copy. You know, since he didn't play it last time, I assumed it was the ice block again. But yeah, by saying, like, yeah, you know, I shipped this random game, like Slam Bolt Scrappers or something like that, FTL, you know, even if you were just a small part of it, right, like, I did the sound for FTL, like, oh, that was okay. I wish my Ragnaros was going to continue living, but I guess I'll survive. And just start going to the dome here and see what I can accomplish. He didn't play a Flame Strike last game, which is interesting. I wonder if he has them. Well, let's see. Make Locke a mod and force him to ban himself. What a great idea. Will Landmark buy, like, a game? Can you explain that a little bit more, Zeta? I just don't understand what you're trying to say. Oh, and yeah, I love FTL. It's one of my favorite games for quite a while. I played the hell out of it. I ended up like modding it all out, and with like the Endless mod, a few other mods, just because it was so much fun. I'm really looking forward to the expansion that's coming out. So definitely, if you like roguelikes, but even more like the way that I put it is, it feels a lot like you're playing Star Trek. Like, if you ever played like the old Interplay Star Trek games where you just kind of wander around and solve mysteries on other planets, it feels like that, except that you never really go to the planets. But you just wander over, and it's like, oh, you've encountered these people, and oh, they're jerks, so now you have to fight them. But you have to manage all the systems, and something that like space combat games don't do that often. Man, there's a lot of ice lances. Well, I guess better that they're aiming at those guys than at my face, but yeah, that was ugly. Let's see. Well, this will be okay. I have enough mana for this 5, 7, 8. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm feeling okay about this game. Not quite there yet, but yeah. Let's see. And everyone, please thank Zaitsev for moderating for me. Dude has done it a few times now. It's been super helpful. And normally he's giving out Prime Grappler codes, but I just ran out of them yesterday. But yeah, definitely toss him a thanks, and toss him a follow too, because he's starting to stream as well. Let's see. What are you gonna build? What does FTL stand for? Yeah, faster than light, but the game is actually called FTL, which there's it also means for the loss. Because it's a game, it's kind of like Dwarf Fortress, right? Like, you can play as long as you want, but you're not going to win. There's just no way to win the game. You always lose. So it's really fun because, I don't know. I like the fact that you just can't win. I might be alone on that. Let's see. What do I do here? A lot of options. Yeah, so I will kill him because he is just a little too big to go on living. And then I'll eat something. Then you can attack there. You can shoot him and go down. So I feel pretty good about this game, but you never know with these explosive decks how it's gonna go.
I got the best deals anywhere.
Oh man, that stuff is good. And stupid gadgets and auctioneer. You're amazed at how quiet he was. What do you mean? Because I'll definitely, if you guys were watching Dave Georgeson's the director of development for Landmark and for the entire EverQuest franchise, and today was his first stream, and because I was telling him during the week that I had started streaming, and he got really excited. I think he didn't realize that that it's actually not super hard to stream. Let's see, what do I want to do here? Yeah, I think what I want to do is try to lure this guy in and hope that he makes a weird mistake.
I can wait and fish all day.
I'm almost out of cards.
Oh, he's almost out of cards too, so that's good. Well, me too, but not quite as close. Let's see. I mean, it's really, like, streaming is really hard. I had no idea until I started doing it by myself. Because when we do it at work, like on the EQN Landmark channel, which you should also follow if you don't, but I assume if you're here, you probably do. But when we do it at work, we have a production team. There's Colette, Dexella, me, and then our guests, as well as like 4 or 5 other people behind the scenes that are all doing planning, execution, running XSplit and making it work, and solving all the problems. Like, our last stream, right? We had a crash, or we actually had the power go out in the middle of the stream, and it was just like, what do we do? And immediately 5 people are moving, like, to fix the problem. And when it's just you and something goes wrong, Like it's way different. And right now, like I'm watching the chat, I'm watching the the actual broadcast software. Um, I'm watching, and I'm trying to play the game, and I'm trying to talk to you guys. Like it's a lot more difficult than I thought. You know what? I'm betting with the donation thing. I'm betting I have the wrong URL in here. I think I think I just realized that because I have a notification thing up that should pop up just for me when one comes through. So I'm thinking that I must have a typo in it. All right. So he's saying GG, but I don't. Oops, and I just didn't do the thing that I said I was gonna do. And yeah, I just made a huge mistake because he should have died when he drew his next card, but now he's not going to. So I need to manage the board.
So many possibilities.
Yeah, and this should be okay because I don't know. I don't know what else he's got, but he's only got 2 more cards to do something with. So let me go ahead and fix this. Yeah, I messed up. That's true. But I don't know what this guy is going to do to capitalize on it. Yeah, it's Pyroblast me, but 1 Pyroblast is not going to get there.
I'm almost out of cards.
So let me show him what was in my hand, just so he feels a little bit worse about it. But yeah, it was a good game. And pretty fun. So 1-1. Alright, so I may have the donation thing actually working now, but by no means am I confident in that, so let's not worry about it too much. Just taking a look at everything to make sure that things aren't broken. And like I was saying, I mean, I think it's really hard when you first start streaming to get this stuff right. And I just got a notice not to broadcast Titanfall. So good to know, I guess, since I'm not broadcasting it. But yeah, let me catch up on the chat here. So, yeah, I also love Hearthstone, Mud Fan. Yeah, I think Dave's gonna get a lot better at streaming on his own, because I think he's just gonna, he's just gonna do it, and he's gonna get more comfortable and figure it out, and it'll be great. How come games don't come with a left-handed keyboard layout? That's a good question. I'm guessing it's a demand thing. It seems like left-handed people, they already have their setup, and so if we are individually changing our game to be custom for left-handers, then, because not all left-handers want to change things, right? Like, for a lot of them, they just use the computer pretty much the way it's set up, and it's fine. So I think it just is one of those things where no matter what we do, it's going to be pretty difficult. So yeah, I think that's why. But if it's something that you're really passionate about, then let us know. Chinook, yeah, Dave actually streamed for the first time today. I don't know if he's still streaming, but he is at Twitch TV/Dave Georgeson.
I can wait and fish all day.
Let's see. He lacked energy. He must be recharging. Yeah, well, when I talked to him about streaming, he really said, and I think this is this is a really good idea too. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to be playing the game anyway. I might as well just turn it on so that people can watch me play, because why not? And fair point. Like, why wouldn't you do that? Jeez, this is rough. Well, thanks for nothing, Nat Pagel. Do not have a lot of juice. So that was a pretty bad turn, and that's probably going to cost me the game. Let's see. Zesterson says, I see you're a wine collector. Yes, we do have a little bit of a wine collection. We drink some wine, and we like it. And I'm just I just have a collector bug. So, anytime, anytime there is something to be collected, I'm collecting it, right? Like, collected Magic, collected G.I. Joes when I was a kid. Whatever's collectible, I collect it. So, started drinking wine. Obviously, I have to collect wine. I might start streaming my old-timey raids in my progression guild on live servers. We just unlocked the Elias. Oh, that's awesome. I would love to see that. Actually, I think we're going to see a lot more EQ and EQ2 streaming, especially EQ2 since Maggie Crone just became the community manager of EQ2. Lou Perza from PlanetSide 2, she's now working on that project, so I think we're going to see her streaming a fair amount too, which is going to be cool. Alright, this is messy. Don't have any good options here. So I'm just going to have to go for bad options. And I mean, even though this is a pretty sad turn, at least by playing this, he's going to shoot it, and that's going to eat up some of his mana for the turn. Let's see. Yeah, I hope Geekdomo will keep up with the EQ1 stuff. It's pretty fun. I don't know, that game's like a lot of fun to watch streaming, I think, just because it's really hard to play in general, like, especially if you're a modern MMO player. Oof, that is bad. Super bad. Well, at least I can get this stupid guy off the table. But yeah, against a burn deck, I'm not thrilled with my position here. Do I play WoW? Not really anymore. I used to play a lot. I played a lot during Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. And then I just kind of fell out. I capped out a couple characters, and it was so long before the next content, and it was really just kind of sucking my life away. I mean, you guys know how that goes. And so, yeah, I just kind of stopped. I've been playing a little bit of EverQuest and a little bit of EverQuest 2, but not enough to really have like decent characters. I'm really looking forward to EQN, and also for Landmark to get more of the like adventuring stuff in, because like I'm not really good at building things, which is why I'm not streaming Landmark right now. Like, so I'm really excited for that to happen. Let's see. Okay. This sucks, because I really want to Soulfire that guy, but I know I'm going to lose frickin' Jaraxxus if I do, because I just have really bad luck for that. So I think I'm actually going to make this inefficient trade, because I don't think his deck is well set up to deal with creatures. So, I think his hope is that at this point in the game I'm dead, but obviously I'm not. And yeah, see, he just said not again when I played Ragnaros, because I don't think that he's set up to deal with like this sort of these mid-range cards. Let's see. Landmark looks like it is going to end up like a sandbox where you can make a game like an MMORPG engine. Yeah, Zesterson. That's absolutely where Landmark is going. Right now there's just building tools, but eventually there's going to be AI tools and tools to make props and things like that. So you'll absolutely be building the beginnings of MMOs, and then eventually like really building MMOs. So it's gonna be pretty cool. And I think I'm just gonna pile the pressure on because I haven't seen a flame strike or anything like that. So just hoping that he doesn't kill me this turn, basically. And if he doesn't, I think I win. Is Dave still streaming? Let's see.
What to do?
Viper says, I have a question. Will EverQuest Next and Landmark make it to the PS4? And yeah, Viper, if I can't comment on something, I won't. So you guys feel free to ask anything you want, and I'll just tell you if I can't talk about it because, you know, it's my job to know that, and it's your job to ask all the questions you want. But we've announced EverQuest Next will be on PlayStation 4. We haven't put a date on it. We haven't announced anything about Landmark being on PlayStation 4. You know, I think it's certainly within the realm of possibility, and certainly something that people would be excited about. So, but yeah, like I said, we haven't announced anything, so I can't actually confirm that. So I think that's going to be game, because Ragnaros is just going to hit him. Ragnaros just did 24 damage to him. And if you can't deal with Ragnaros, pretty much what he does. So yeah, that was really good, Cody. Thanks for playing. I really appreciate it. That was fun. You are the master. I wish. But I do really like this deck. Let me show you guys the deck list real quick. So I think it's pretty cool, and I haven't seen anyone build anything quite like it. I call it mid-range lock because it's really not super aggressive. Like most Warlock decks are either super aggressive or they're that combo, like the combo trying to get all the giants out. And this really isn't either one of those. It plays at first like it's aggressive with the ooze and with the knife juggler. Like knife juggler really tells people that you're playing against an aggressive deck. But you know, cards like Nat Pagal, you know, and then some of this mid range, and it gets a little ugly too. Like I said, I've been trying to shore it up against the aggro decks, so that's why there's a Drain Life instead of the second Shadow Bolt, and why there's a Farseer instead of an ooze. But it still isn't doing a very good job against them, to be honest. So, but you know, it really is just about making good trades all the time. Like there are very few even trades in the deck, right? Like Shadow Bolt, you know, kills things that cost more than 3. You know, so even though it's a 1-for-1 on cards, it will at least trade up. And yeah, so for EverQuest Next, it'll definitely be on PC first before PlayStation 4. And obviously that's true for Landmark. If it goes to PS4, it's going to happen after PC since it's already in alpha. And let me catch up. Yeah, I know that the socials change. I barely ever use them because when you're playing on a Mac too, like I usually don't have a right click button, and for whatever reason Blizzard doesn't have it set up to use the control click yet, so I don't get to emote all of the time. EverQuest Next Landmark is the first EverQuest game I played. Cool. Well, what do you think so far? It is, yeah, as Zester says, very different than EverQuest. It's really its own game. Yeah, Locke, sitting in a room talking to yourself, it does feel strange. But, you know, like, I do see you guys responding and reacting in the chat eventually, so, you know, it doesn't feel too weird. You know, and ultimately, like, I guess it feels kind of like I'm just narrating what I'm doing, right? And I think that's sort of how Twitch streaming got started. Let's see. Yeah, my aspect is broken. I can't figure out exactly how to get the size down. And that was the only thing that was, like, bugging me. And it's only with Hearthstone. With Banished, it looks fine. But I don't know exactly what it is. But I'll get it figured out for the next stream. Yeah, everything looks a little bit fat. Let's see. My channel lags your computer horribly. I wonder why. Just trying to catch up on the chat. And for people who are just joining, my name is Omid Daryani. I'm the Senior Brand Manager of the EverQuest franchise, so EverQuest, EverQuest 2, EverQuest Next, and Landmark. So happy to answer any questions about that, or just talk about whatever. I'd appreciate it if you follow me here, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. You can also buy me a drink if you're so inclined. And I'm happy to tell some of the stories. There's some information below the stream about that stuff. Can I talk about the love seat? Yeah, I suppose I can talk about the love seat. We will have to duel to the death for the love seat alpha access. It's funny because I never would have thought of it being a joke, except that I was sitting on the love seat, either watching one of the streams, or I think we were recording, a producer's letter or a roundtable video or something. And someone's like, oh, Omid's over on the couch by himself. And I was like, well, actually, it's a love seat. And I was like, wait, that's pretty funny that Omid is on the love seat. And then it just kind of became a thing. And people seem to like it, so I'll probably keep making jokes about it. Is there going to be anything like rainbows where you can find the loot or rare minerals at the end? That's an interesting idea. I don't think I've heard anyone suggest that before. But, but yeah, kind of a cool idea. I'll chat with people if it comes up. Let's see. Is EverQuest Next going to be designed separately from the ground up for different platforms? Well, no. We're not going to build two completely separate games right now. We're designing them with both, PC and console in mind. That said, it's a PC game first and then a console game. So, we will probably have to adapt some of the things from the PC version, to the PlayStation 4 version. But, we're also trying to, and it's really not that hard to make a game that'll work for both. What the tricky thing is that people usually don't do that. They usually make it for one and then retrofit it to the other, so it ends up feeling clunky. But they're just design decisions you can make that really address some of the problems. Let's see, is VoIP coming anytime soon? Yeah, I believe it's coming in the next few weeks. I think it's in phase 2 on the roadmap. SOE Mote and VoIP. I'm really interested in the AI. Me too. I hope it's half as good as they claim it will be. Me too. And it's one of those things where it's really easy to let your imagination run wild with the possibilities of it. And, we're still testing it and developing it, so we don't know how it's going to shake out. But, it definitely is capable of doing all the things that we've been talking about. It'll just be a question of how those work, in an MMO and like in our game design. Let's see. I mentioned not wanting Landmark to turn into a game version of Photoshop. Does this mean we won't see much more capability coming? I know there are more features that some would like added. But Rabito, what I'm talking about is we don't want to have so many tools that it becomes really, really hard to to actually understand what's going on. And someone just asked me if I was streaming, so because it would be really easy to just have a tool that does everything. The analogy I was using last night was kitchen gadgets, right? Like, you can get a kitchen gadget that does everything. There's a million different gadgets, but a lot of times you can do the same things with a knife. So the question is, how many different devices do you need to slice something if you could just use a knife, right? And so that's kind of what we're thinking about here. We don't want complexity. We want power, and we want to have a lot of flexibility in the tools rather than having just a lot of tools. will PC and PS4 players play on the same servers? If we can make that happen. It's not always possible. It just depends on the technology, the servers, the databases, a lot of stuff that we can't answer the questions on yet because we haven't built. But yeah, the goal is to make them work. I feel like Omid is about 5 minutes behind on the chat. That wouldn't surprise me at all, because I really try to make my chat or my stream chat focused, and talking to you guys I think is much more important than watching me suck at Hearthstone. So I try to answer questions, and people, what I've noticed in my streams, ask frickin' really good questions, and they don't have like one sentence responses, or like I could just say no, we're not doing that, shut up, but like the questions that are asked are good enough that they deserve good responses. So I would rather take the time and give a full answer to the question than kind of gloss over it just because just to keep up. Let's see. Pretty sure PlanetSide 2 players will be playing with each other on PC and PS. I'm not 100% sure, Zube. I mean, but it's always our goal to have that. Like for DCOO, we don't have that right now. And we definitely want to have it. So, it's something that we're always trying to do. I am also SOE's pro troll. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, if console and PS4 players are playing together on PlanetSide 2, the console players are going to get destroyed. Yeah, it's really tough, like, just the precision aiming and what you can do with, with a computer is just, like, way different. So, yeah, I don't know. I know we have top men working on this, so it will get resolved the best way possible. I'm not one of them, so I don't know. I'm an old Diablo fan. I am also an old Diablo fan. The first guild I ever joined in anything was a Diablo guild, back for Diablo 1. I played a lot of that game. It's a lot of great stuff in the chat. But let me see, is Evercast on tonight? I believe it is. I think it is. I think it comes on at 7. For folks who don't know, Evercast Show is a fan-made broadcast that is pretty cool, and they have been running it since before SOE Live. So since before we had announced the game or anything about it, they were doing shows. It was really cool to go back and watch the old shows too, just for the level of speculation. Let's see. And so let me fire up the arena again here. Yeah. Question: what is my favorite anime? Well, my favorite anime probably is the one that I helped create. Because in addition to working in the game industry, I've also done stuff with cartoons, with movies, comic books, things like that. And if you go on my YouTube page, you can I have a playlist up that has the whole series, but it's called Kiba, and it's not tremendously good or anything. I just like it because I worked on it. But I guess for a serious answer, that's tough. I mean, as a kid, I loved Voltron, and that was like a mind-blowing thing to see for the first time. And then, I mean, I think, Macross and Gundam, and Fooly Cooly, just kind of a lot of that older awesome stuff really, like, sticks with me. I watched a lot of Naruto. For work, I watched a lot of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I worked on both of those. But yeah, I think the older, like, the Gundam shows and things like that, blow my mind. But yeah, Voltron, God, Voltron was like the awesomest thing I'd ever seen when I first saw it. Well, come on, somebody in the arena, anytime now. Is there a PS4 mouse? Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is. Not 100% sure. I watched Thundercats. Yes, I watched quite a bit of Thundercats. That was awesome. I love that show so much. I don't know what's going on with the arena here. It must be stuck. Oh, something exploded. So let me restart that, I guess. And Voltron too. I remember it was so hard to get the toys, because I was a kid when it came out, and it was like the first like craze when I was a kid, where it was like you had to get like rain checks to get things because they didn't have them in stores. Yeah, 1980s Transformers was holy crap awesome. I love G.I. Joe too. Have I seen the new Thundercats? I actually haven't, and I'm really excited to. How was it? Yeah, I didn't watch it. But yeah, I worked in animation for several years, like designing shows that could be, like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh type shows, as well as working on Yu-Gi-Oh. And so that was pretty fun. Probably definitely the coolest thing I got to do in that time was like hang out with all the random creators of different shows. But probably my favorite story was I got to meet Bruce Timm. Do you guys know who that is? He was the creator of like the old Batman the Animated Series and all the like Warner Brothers DC cartoons. And I got to hang out with him in Tokyo for several days. Like one day it was just like me and him all day wandering around Tokyo. It was really cool. Yeah, well, it's a cool conversation about animation. I love it. So yeah, I mean, go on, guys. I'd love to hear all your favorite shows and stuff too. Tailspin. Tailspin was awesome. Still watch Transformers, yeah. I mean, a lot of people did Darkwing Duck, yep. What blows my mind is if you actually go back and watch, what's it called? G.I. Joe, like, the show is way different than the way that I remember it. It's really a horrible comedy. Like, there's just terrible stuff happening all the time. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, at one point in an episode of G.I. Joe, they, Cobra hijacks a space shuttle by throwing a net over it and holding the net down with, like, their little tanks. And, it's just kind of like, what the hell am I looking at sort of feeling when you see it. But yeah, I loved that show. Let's see. Yeah, and Pinky and the Brain. I mean, the whole, like, Tiny Toons in general was really good. It was just so much fun to watch. Oh, crap. Well, what were the odds that was going to happen? I'm in a lot of trouble now. Oh, dear. How do I resolve this?
The Sunwell.
So rare that Blood Knight actually, like, gets you. Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, that show was great. Captain Planet. Yeah, Captain Planet. Well, so I grew up in Atlanta, and Ted Turner, the guy who created Captain Planet, and, CNN and TBS. Oh, man, this is getting bad. And all that stuff was from Atlanta, so we were getting all of it first. And, he was so excited. Like, he was everywhere. There was, like, Captain Planet stuff everywhere because he was so excited about it. And it was kind of cool. It's just like a really weird thing. Oh, that's good. Let's see. a lot. Swipe, as you can see, every time I've played it has just been an incredible MVP. Cobra Command carves his face into the moon. There are so many jokes on G.I. Joe that are incredible. Like, let's see. Oh, no time for that. This is so ugly. Just don't have good options. I feel like I'm just sort of 1 mana off of doing a lot of good stuff. Yeah, there's one episode of G.I. Joe where Cobra Commander is like hanging out and in his, like the Cobra meeting room and talking to people, and he's like, oh man, what's Destro doing? I gotta get in touch with him. What's that guy up to? And then he like finally calls Destro on the giant screen, and Destro is just, somehow the camera comes on, which doesn't make any sense. And Destro is just making out with the Baroness, and for a good couple seconds, and then Cobra Commander just yells, Destro, like, what are you doing? And he's like, it's not what it looks like, Cobra Commander. She had something in her eye. And it's like, alright, so if that's a counterspell, then I'm in a lot of trouble. Oh, come on. That's rough. Yeah, that is rough. So now I have to do this terrible thing. Just to kind of stay alive. We'll see how it goes.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. You're welcome, buddy. I don't know what you're thanking me for. You had 2 fireballs in your hand. I was dead. Let's see. Just the idea, and I cannot believe how badly I'm doing at Arena today. It's kind of a bummer. How far are you guys on development of EverQuest Next? Well, it's a really difficult question. EverQuest Next is a different beast than most games, because EverQuest Next and Landmark are being designed and built sort of in tandem, and they're, we're able to use a lot of the engine, the world tech, all of this stuff from Landmark, as well as a lot of the art assets for EverQuest Next. So, you can see how far along a lot of EverQuest Next is by looking at Landmark. The world design, the procedural generation, all of this stuff is getting done really soon. We have a lot of the systems designed for Next already. So, we're just in process of implementing a lot of them. But it's gonna come out next year. We're pretty confident in that. This year is all about Landmark. Next year is all about Next. Let's see. I'm trying to buy the game, but I keep getting this error. We are unable to process your payment. I went and unlocked my credit card to buy in the USA. SOE site. Yeah. Algren, where are you located? There's some places that, I'm not super familiar with all of our buying protocol. So, there could just be something wonky going on based on where you are. And, sometimes, like, the systems are just down, and that can be the cause of the problem. So, it's really, really difficult for me to say with no information. But if you're having trouble, you can contact our customer service department directly through email or through the phone, and they will just be able to help you a lot better than I can. That's for sure. Let's see. I hate to burn a wrath on this guy, but I would really like him to not be here to kill my panther. you think they will add an option on your claims to hire a decorator? Maybe have it so they can level up their skills. Well, you'll definitely be able to give other people permission to build on your claim, and so there will be people who sort of specialize in decorating and stuff like that, I'm sure. And so that could definitely happen. I don't know that we're gonna have a decorator class or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about that part for you, but yeah, I mean, you definitely could let your friends who are good at decorating
Must cleanse
do the
the
decoration
Sunwell.
for you.
For the wild.
Yeah, and as Wick says, that the permission system will be in the game next week, and we are pretty confident about that. It was supposed to be this week, but we just couldn't get it done in time for Wednesday, and then we ended up moving to Thursday. We still couldn't get it done in time, but it will definitely be in there next week. Is in one of the statements about Landmark, it was mentioned that these were the tools developers use to create EverQuest. Is this true? I find it hard to believe that they make the game from within the game. Well, we may not be making EverQuest Next in the world of Landmark, like on the live servers, but we're certainly using the same tool set and the same pieces to make it. So yeah, we are using we had to build these tools to make EverQuest Next, and that's what ended up becoming Landmark. Let's see, just trying to review and figure out what happened to all my guys, because I kind of liked them. And we'll see how this goes. I feel like I'm a little ahead here, but this could turn around very quickly. You live in Brazil. Well, you should definitely be able to purchase the game. I'm not sure why you're having trouble. You should definitely contact our customer service department, Algren, because you shouldn't have any issue. Have I seen the combat system for Landmark? Will it be tested independently of the current servers? I have seen some of the combat system and some of what's being discussed. It's still being developed. And we'll be going through a lot of changes as we go, I'm sure. But yeah, it will we'll test it internally before we release it out to the live servers for sure. But we'll try to release it to the live servers as soon as possible because we'd love to have all of that feedback. Whoops, sorry about that, buddy. That was awkward. Pretty sure he didn't want to do that, but good for me that he did. Let's see, 7, 10, 12, he's dead. That's good. 14, I think he's still dead. Oh, he's definitely dead now. Let's see, 6, 8, 13, yeah. Yay! Algren, when did you contact them? I mean, it sometimes just takes a few days for customer service to get back, especially if you've contacted them on the weekend. What are the odds of player-made builds and other stuff from Landmark making it into EverQuest Next? 100%. If it was possible to go higher than 100%, it would be higher than 100%. Absolutely, player-made stuff is going to be in EverQuest Next. Some of it officially, like we're going to run contests that are like, hey, help us design, the Church of Kinos or, the bank at Freeport. As well as just seeing that people build really cool things that fit in with our design, and asking them if we can put them directly into the game. But you'll also be able to take your own creations and put them into the game as well.
Versus Jane.
Allowing someone to build on your claim will allow them to template your builds. I think so. I'm not 100% sure. but I would think that if you could build on the claim, you would be able to template on the claim. You know, I mean, you're going to have to trust people that you let build on your claim. Let's see, when will Landmark get dwarves? Well, we haven't announced for sure that we will be putting other races in, but it is very likely that we will. It's not something that's coming in the very near future, but you know, as we're building the races for EverQuest Next, the odds of them going into Landmark go way up. Water fountains and pressure. We're discussing both of those things, like having like real physics attached to fountains and things like that. We're not exactly sure what we're going to do with it, like whether we're going to have those physics in the game or how they're going to work just yet, but I would say that it's pretty likely. So you would be able to have water fountains and water pressure, hopefully. I don't know how much you'll be able to do with water pressure, because you know, you could do some really cool stuff with it. Let's see. Did female dwarves get beards on their face? Yes. That was I think the very first roundtable question, right? Was, should female dwarves have beards? Let me see. I don't want to screw this up. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, one of the very first roundtable questions was, should female dwarves have beards? People said that they should be optional, but they wanted them, so we designed them. And I think at PAX Prime, we showed them for the first time. So there's concept art of the female dwarves with beards and with mutton chops and all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, and Algren, if you can't get any traction with customer service within a couple days, then just send me a tweet, or send me a tweet with some information about it, and I'll help make sure it happens, because we definitely want to get you in. Let's see. And yeah, so if you guys aren't following me here on Twitch, I would appreciate it if you hit that follow button. Also, following me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook is really good. And if you guys like, you can buy me a drink. And there's more information about that down at the bottom. Let's see what else he posted. Oh, that's cute. Very unfortunate. Ugh. Why did that have to happen? Why does that only deal 5? Alright. Oh. Well, 2 can play at this game, for whatever it's worth. Oh, that was dumb. That was really dumb. Streaming is it's a pretty big handicap, because I want to pay attention to the chat more than the game. So I end up making a fair amount of mistakes. Let's see. Please show a lot of EverQuest Next at SOE Live. We will show as much as we can, or as much as we feel like is worth showing, for sure. We're really excited to show it more, but you know, right now we got to keep the focus on Landmark while we're in alpha, beta, and launching that. Nadsack asks, how annoying is the O-Nod thing getting for you? It's not really annoying. I think it's pretty funny. People have a good sense of humor about it, and you know, like, what are you gonna do? It's a good joke. As far as internet memes go, it could be way worse. And it's pretty awesome that, you know, that they put me in the game. Like, I cannot complain. Like, how freaking cool is it to actually be in a game? Let's see. Man, I'm still just in a rough situation here. Like, the math is just not working with what I need to do and that stupid guy. So
My shield for Argus.
that's something at least. Let's see. Can I post a link to view a sneak peek of the devil statue? Unfortunately, it will get killed by Moobot Devil, but if you messaged it to Zaitsev, he could post it up for you. And yeah, I have no problem with it. Just the robot won't like it. Oh, cool. Yeah, he already did it. Dude is super on the ball.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Oh man, I didn't even kill that stupid berserker. That's annoying. All right, well, I guess things could be a lot worse. I'm just gonna keep playing this board control game and hoping that it continues working out for me. Is water coming before beta? Not sure. If it can, but I wouldn't bet on it. Polymorph my guy. Can we add the air glasses emote? I don't know what you mean by that. The origin of the Onod is ridiculously awesome. Yeah, and that's one of the stories that I tell when people buy me a drink. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, had no idea that it was gonna happen. Had no idea it was coming. So you know, it's a very just baffling thing to have happen. See, when will we get new outfits? We're actually gonna release one of our building blocks videos about some new outfits. I want to say early next week. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen either Monday or Tuesday. And we've got a few new outfits that are pretty cool, so hopefully you guys will like them. Let's see. All right. Well. Probably use this turn where nothing is happening to draw some cards. Maybe I'll draw something good. And of course not. Let's see. So he fireballed that guy. Probably doesn't have a flame strike at this point. Go ahead and do this. See if I can just overwhelm him with random stuff. Oh, here's the devil. Oh yeah, that's looking cool. That looks like it's gonna get there. Awesome, man. Alright. Let's see. Okay, I feel like this guy is probably really close to dead.
Behold the might of Stormwind.
Yeah. Unless he's gonna gain some life, then he should die next turn. Yeah, because I've got the Starfire and he's at 5. Am I an Archer fan? I caught your just the tip quip on the live stream. Yeah, I'm a huge Archer fan. Oh, that's ugly. I love that show. It's really just one of the best things on TV right now, and yeah, it cracks me up all the time. And I can't believe how much they changed it, and it was really gutsy and difficult for them to do, I'm sure. But they did a great job with it. Yeah, I love that show. I watch Archer all the time. Oh, pushing your glasses back up when you don't have them on. Well, I don't know if that's high on the priority list at the moment, but it is a pretty cool emote idea. So I will let them know. Couldn't get enough of us yesterday. Well, actually what happened, Tiggs, and welcome back, is that, oh hey, I won. I'm not even really paying attention. Uh, Yesterday I had a bunch of tech difficulties up front, and it was kind of frustrating because I wanted to like play some XCOM or things like that. So I've been, this morning I was working on, the streaming configuration for Windows, and wanted to test it out. And I was like, I'll just hop on for a few minutes and stream and test it out, make sure it works. And of course, folks, as soon as I jumped on, came and started chatting, and the chat's really good as always, and it's really fun to hang out and talk. I've just been hanging out, playing some Hearthstone and streaming. Let's see. What do I think about people getting dirty clothes when digging, as well as roleplay options? I think it's cool. I think it's just one of those polish elements that, hopefully we'll have time to get around to stuff like that. But, it is a polish thing, so it's not, high on the priority list, but it's a cool idea. When will glass be in the game? As soon as it's possible, Mystical Nature, but I don't have a good ETA for you at the moment. Do I play any of the Battlefield games? Not really anymore. I played the hell out of like Battlefield 1942 and the expansions like back in the day, and then Battlefield 2 for a little bit. But I'm really not that good at FPSs, and so it just hasn't been that high a priority. And they've gotten much more complicated as time has gone on, and you have to be so much more organized that I just really haven't had time. And most of my gaming is, I try to play stuff where I can get in and out of it fairly quickly, just because I'm always doing 2 or 3 things at once. So it's really important for the game to either like be turn-based or have a pause button at the very least, things like that. So my opponent has played Lights, Justice, and this, and that's pretty much it. So I could, probably the right thing to do is to play the Ooze and start pushing on that, but I could also play the Worgen and hope that he makes a mistake, and the Worgen could just wreck him. I'm not sure which thing to do. I'm gonna play the Worgen and see how it goes. 'Cause, I mean, the Lights Justice is just not, it's annoying, but it's not really that good. Let's see. See you later, Devil. Good to have you here again. Let's see. Does the EQ Next development team understand how much pressure we have now? Because almost everyone thinks it's like breaking the Berlin Wall and letting fresh air flow. Yeah, we understand. Ooh, hang on, what happened? Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, we understand how much, I wouldn't say pressure, but just how much desire there is for EverQuest Next to be, to live up to what we've been talking about. And we're not nervous. Like, we know that we have a lot of work to do, and, until we prove that we can do it, like, it still hasn't been done. But we're not nervous. We've got a great team, and we've got a really cool project, and so we're more excited than anything else, I think. Alright, let's see. This situation is suboptimal. But yeah, I mean, this Lights Justice is just not doing anything for him. It's just going to basically go away without hurting me. Tough situation.
Shall not fall.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Alright, now I can try to catch up on the chat.
Put this apple on your head.
Yeah, I assumed that Toronto Tiggs was from Canada.
My shield for Argus.
possibly from Toronto. Oh god, that's ugly. Uh, yeah, Battlefield blew my mind when it came out too. I mean, that game was I mean, you know, it was the first game where you could get into a vehicle, right? Like that just hadn't happened before. Don't love this, but I don't see any other play here. So you do what you must. And that leaves me with a pretty good board. I mean, it only gets ugly if he consecrates, but, you know, which he very well could. I would say I'm about 50-50 this game right now, but I'm probably losing. Oh, that was nasty. I have really bad luck when it comes to like random number generation stuff. Oh, that's rough. Let's see. When is death coming? Well, that's in the roadmap. I think it's one of those things where in some basic form it's coming fairly soon, but yeah, like the full complexity of like that game is not there yet. Boy, do not have great options here. We'll see how it goes. I think EQN, Juhlar says, I think EQN is in a good place now. There's hype, but it's not excessive. EQN devs can avoid a lot of heat while WildStar and ESO are focus of attention. When that dies down, it will be harder. Yeah, I think that's a really good assessment of sort of where we are. You know, the excitement, and I mean, we're excited too for WildStar and Elder Scrolls. I can't wait to, I mean, especially when I saw the hoverboard in WildStar, like, holy crap, that's cool. Oh man, yeah, I think I've lost this game. Pretty amazing knife juggling skills that this guy has. Though a few Starfires certainly isn't gonna hurt. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do about that knife juggler. That is really ugly. Does Dave need glasses? He had to lean way over to read questions on his stream. He does sometimes wear reading glasses, so he may not have been wearing them. And, you know, depending on the resolution too, right? Like, the chat may be really, really small. Oh, so close to good. Crap. Maybe I can still afford it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I can do this, and then hopefully I can catch up, and I'll be a little bit ahead with a really nice bomb in hand. Rick and Morty. I haven't even heard of that. What is that, Natsack? I'd love to hear more about it. Oh, great. Okay, that's good. Well, I can finally get this stupid knife juggler off the board, but crap. Now I've got to deal with that mercenary, and I don't have a good solution. I mean, I have a solution, which is hit him with the Starfire and then take 1,000,000 points of damage when I attack him with Shapeshift, which I guess is what I'm going to have to do. I guess now is as good a time as any to pop that. And maybe this Worgen will pay off for me. We'll see. Yeah, EQN will either be groundbreaking and change MMOs forever or be the biggest letdown ever. I mean, I think that's a pretty fair assessment. I think we're already changing MMOs, just even the announcement of it, and what, you know, the ideas. It's just not going to be possible to make like the same old game anymore because you know, there is that hype of EverQuest Next. You know, so the next couple years, like, we've got that going for us, and it's going to be really cool. Man. Man, I do not have a lot going on in this game. So I'm going to take 7 and then die to a hammer. This. Let's see, do I think they'll add a weight system to the characters to make them more realistic? It's certainly the goal to have the characters be very realistic in how they move and that sort of thing. So yeah, I would look for balance, things like that to happen as we go along. Let's see. With all the unprecedented fan and player input on EQN, is the team concerned about too much play may hinder? I'm sorry, Esther, I can't understand exactly what you're saying here. I think what you're saying, yeah, that was a mistake, buddy. I think what you're saying is, since we're giving people so much ability to affect the game, are we worried that that is actually going to swing in the other direction and going to make the game worse? Let me know if that's not... oh, Cosmos is on. Yeah, I should definitely watch Cosmos. That's way better than listening to me talk about this stuff. Let's see. It's not on out here yet, so I don't have to go anywhere. But yeah, I mean, it's a concern, but, you know, we're going to listen to people and we're going to take stuff into account, but we're not going to let the community just decide everything. You know, we are professional game designers, and we know, you know, what's good and what we think is going to work. And what we think is that we can take player input and make the game design we're working on better. But, you know, we're not interested in just sort of doing whatever players say. You know, we're interested in making sure that the game is really, really good. And honestly, like, we've been seeing that so far, right? Like, we have made some pretty major, like, innovation. Like, there's been major innovation in the game already based on, like, player interaction, which is really cool, and not something that you typically see. But yeah, I'm not worried about it, because, you know, we have, like, a ton of professional designers to filter ideas. So, you know, we're not going to take bad ideas from the community. Let's see.
Reporting for duty.
Can we expect increases in the complexity of crafting, or will it remain more basic? I'm not exactly sure. We're still not talking about the crafting system in tremendous amounts of detail, Rabito, but SOE in general is a crafting-focused company. Like, all of our games have really good crafting systems in them, and, you know, Dave Georgeson is a crafting nut. So I think that the crafting system in EQN and Landmark is going to be pretty good. Hi, Aganor, how are you doing?
Shields up.
Let's move quickly.
Let's see. Will we be able to use the Oculus Rift for virtual reality in EQN? Not sure. We're still testing to see, you know, how much we like it, and if we think it's good, like a good fit for the game. Let's see. Sorry, give me 1 second here to not screw this up. Yeah, so we've been testing it. I'm not sure if we're going to support Oculus Rift yet, but we think it's really cool, and we love it. Let's see. Oh, well, that Rick and Morty is on Adult Swim. It's basically Doc and Marty from Back to the Future, but with very inappropriate humor. Well, that sounds just exactly like something I want to watch. So I will check that out. Thank you for that recommendation. Alright, so now I think we're just going to try to run this guy over, because I don't think he's got the juice. And I do have a 9/9. Let's see. Oh, cool, it's on the National Geographic channel too. That's awesome. So Cosmos is on. If you guys haven't ever seen, in the 70s there was a documentary series called Cosmos that was hosted by Carl Sagan, and it was really incredible. So Fox has remade it, and it's on right now. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. I will certainly be checking it out later, but I'm on the West Coast, so it's not on yet. Alright. What do I do here? I basically just need to make sure I don't die, and then I think I win. So I think I'm in pretty good shape.
The victory is
Yes. I love the roundtables, Mudfan says. Having your fans tell you what they would like in a game is great. If you can get at least half of it in, EQN will be an amazing game. Yeah, thank you. The roundtable was actually my idea, so I'll take a little bit of credit for it. And it was something that, we were all really passionate about doing, because we really want that kind of feedback from the players. And there's been a little bit of confusion around it, just because we don't always do what the players say or what the players vote for, but we always take it into account, and it always helps us in our decision making process. And again, this kind of gets to Zester-san's point, right? We're asking questions about things where we haven't made up our mind yet, because we want to hear more ideas and more opinions, not just our own. It doesn't mean necessarily that we're going to do everything that people say on the roundtable. It just means that we really would like to hear from folks, and then we try to follow up and tell people what we're thinking now. So it's been really valuable, and we've had a good time with it. It's been cool too, because it had pretty good support internally when we started it, but of course there are skeptics when we started it as to whether or not it was a good idea. Kind of what Zester was saying, right? The idea that if the players tell us to do one thing and then we do something else, are we just, is it just a recipe for pissing a whole bunch of people off? And, I think a big part of it has just been trying to clearly communicate what we're doing with it. And for the most part, I think the fans understand. And those skeptics internally have turned into big advocates for it, now that, they've seen that it's not, messing up the game. So it's really cool. And hey, Gold Blue, nice to see you again. Welcome to the chat. Let's see. Alla We Nevermore asks, where do we send our ideas so you can read them? There's a lot of different ways you can get in touch with us. The best place to post is on our forums. If you're a trailblazer or explorer, then you can post there. And we read those every day, and they're really helpful. Other than that, you can get us on Twitter. My Twitter account is right below, so you can follow me there. I highly recommend it. I do say some moderately entertaining things there. So you can always tweet me, tweet Dave Georgeson, tweet Terry Michaels. If you go to the EverQuest Next page, there's a page called Tweet the Devs that just has everybody's Twitter accounts on it. And people, we read those every day. We respond to them every day. Oh, this game is not going to go well. This guy has a pretty good deck. So So we'll see. All right. Boy, this is ugly. Yeah, so I mean, send them to forum, send them to Twitter. Those are probably the best ways to get in touch with us. And you can always chat with me on my live stream. We also do a live stream every Wednesday, but it's probably not the best place to kind of share ideas because the chat gets kind of crazy. There's usually a few thousand people in there. But yeah, man, I'm so dead. All right.
For the wild.
Oh, that's pretty good. We'll probably assassinate him, but at least that'll use up a pretty big card. Let's see. What are the slots for besides your rings? For a lot of things, a lot of them that we just haven't put in yet. But there's all kinds of different buff items, and yeah, I'm not even sure. I'm sure there's a lot of uses for them that I don't even know yet. Let's see. 6. Man.
Sometimes I forget things.
Just a little rough here. Yeah, VR headset plus motion control, like 3D mouse would be awesome for building in Landmark. I totally agree, Dreamcuber. You can just see, I mean, the way the characters kind of do this thing when they're moving, like you can just imagine doing that yourself and building. It would be really cool. So I'm probably gonna wrap up the stream when I lose this arena because I've been streaming for a little while. But like I said, if you're not following me here, definitely I would appreciate it if you follow me. Follow me on Twitter, follow me YouTube, Facebook, and if you are so inclined, you can always buy me a drink. And details on that are below, and I appreciate it. But yeah, so we'll see. I don't think I'm necessarily dead here, but this is getting a little ugly. So if you have any more questions, definitely just put them in the chat. I'm happy to keep talking. All right. Yeah, that Assassin's Blade is going to be really rough for me. Let's see. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Zaitsev. He's actually linking a bunch of the Twitter accounts of people, so you can go ahead and follow them too. Let's see. Which of the Back to the Future movies do you think is the best? I think the first one is the best. Wow, what happened there? That was bad. Cold Blood. Yeah, I'm done. Definitely done here. Let's see.
My eyes are open. For the wild.
Well played.
We'll see what we can do. Neverwinter or Guild Wars 2? I gotta go with Guild Wars 2. But Neverwinter is pretty cool. I haven't played a ton of Neverwinter yet.
This guy's.
Yeah, well, that's rough. Alright, yeah, you got it. Cool. Alright guys, so that's about gonna do it for me, so thank you for coming. Appreciate it. I will almost certainly be streaming next week. I'll go ahead and open my packs here and see if I get anything. I got a legendary in my last pack. Unfortunately, it was one I already had, but I guess could be worse. So let's see if anything good shows up in here. Of course not. But all right. So thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you showing up. It's been a lot of fun. So I'll see you next time.